welcome back to another episode of Jason's Game Room, the only podcast here on YouTube that talks about everything gaming, from board games to dice games to video games to CCGs. Yeah, I did an episode on Pog. What you gonna do, brother? What you gonna do when the JGR podcast runs over you, brother? If it has anything in the world to do with gaming, it's gonna be on this show, and you're gonna want to keep tuning in to see what I'm talking about next. Now, on today's show, I want to discuss something that drives me crazy in the world of gaming. Something that really grinds my gears, and I guess you can say I've been a victim of this at some point or another, even though I've found ways around it. But what I'm talking about is gamers and the like ripping off other gamers. Now, first, I'm going to talk about it in a video game sense. And as I've stated on previous episodes, you go into a used video game store, and sometimes you're going to pay a lot more than you should for a video game, but this is a business trying to make money, and while their prices are a little high, they're not too bad. And if you want that game bad enough, you're going to pay a few bucks for it within reason. As you know, when you buy something from a store, you get that upfront price on the sticker or whatever, and you pay a bit of tax on it, and that's it. And you know what? That's fine. I've gone to a retro video game store here in town at one point or another, and I've paid maybe 30 bucks for a PS3 game that's probably worth 5 or 10, but at the same time, it's there. I don't have to wait for it via shipping from anywhere else on the planet, and I have it, and I can play it, and I can enjoy it. What pisses me off, and this has gotten worse over the years, is you try to go on eBay to buy used video games, and sometimes you'll find a deal. I myself sold 3 or 4 PS3 games that I wasn't playing anymore. I sold them, believe it or not, for $4 each, with about $3 or $4 for shipping. I wasn't looking to rip anyone off. I didn't want them. I'm not going to try to sell them for 20 or 30 bucks, because not everyone's going to go for that. And I helped out other gamers by selling something for a decent price. I didn't rip off anyone on shipping. I could have, but I didn't. And I got a few bucks and they got the game. Everybody was happy. But if you look very closely at a lot of listings on eBay nowadays, the main problem is that people are not only ripping off on the price of the game, but on the shipping. I've looked for a game recently. I'm not going to name which one, because I look for a couple games here and there. I don't end up buying them because of pretty much the shipping. And if I can ship a video game, a PS3 game, in a bubble envelope in North America for less than $5, why am I seeing $29 and $30 shipping prices? And I've gone and messaged people, these sellers, and saying, can you just shove it in a bubble envelope and send it off, and I'll pay the list shipping. You could do it ground. I don't care if it doesn't get flown in, as long as I get it at some point. And they say, no, this is the cheapest available. No, it's not. How can I ship a game for $5 anywhere in North America, but anyone from the rest of Canada or in the US is charging me $29 to $30? It's ridiculous. Yeah, it comes with tracking. I paid an extra $1 for tracking when I ship things, so that's maybe $5 or $6 to ship one game. And I would combine shipping sometimes. That would cost a little more because I would need a bigger envelope. But really? And don't even get me started on people from Quebec that sell anything on eBay, including games, because they charge ridiculous amounts of shipping just to go over one province. Granted, anybody that's from Quebec is automatically angry at just about everything, but as a gamer and someone who sticks up for gamers, I'm getting tired of getting ripped off by other gamers and other people looking to make a quick buck instead of helping out their fellow person. Why? Just recently, I was looking on eBay at some game listings, and there was one game I was thinking of buying. I put it on my watch list, and it initially showed a price of $15.99 US, and the shipping was something like $9.85 or something like that. I don't know how they come up with that kind of a price, but that's not bad. I've seen worse. And I put it on my watch list, and when I went back to possibly buy it, the shipping was now, I think it was like 18 or something US. So that translates to 20-something Canadian. That is ridiculous. Not only are people, I hate to use this word, but raping other gamers, not just on the price of the game, but they're doing it on shipping. And as much as I like to fault eBay's global shipping program, that's part of it. Some of these people are just plainly ripping off other people with no regards. And it's easy to do. The problem with eBay, and I'm saying this as a buyer and a longtime seller that sold a lot of different things, you can make up any shipping charge you want. I don't think that's right to a certain degree. When I charge shipping on certain items, especially video games, it goes by the size of the package. I know from previous shipping attempts as well as weight, because when you do go to ship something, they put it on a scale to see how much it weighs and they measure it. And if I have to pay an extra dollar and absorb it myself, that's fine. I'm not going to go back and tell the buyer, hey, you got to pay me a few more bucks. Well, that's not fair. Now, enough about the video game thing. The one that really burns me up is any kind of buying or selling, and this is not so much for shipping, this is the actual buying and selling costs of CCGs on eBay or other internet-based sites. For example, I'm a longtime player of the Star Trek customizable card game. Everybody knows this. While I haven't had any money to buy anything for my CCGs as of late, because I'm on a budget, it's, these things happen, I do go on eBay occasionally and just look at prices and see what things are going for, and maybe I'll see a couple single cards that I'm after and see if I can source it from a buddy of mine or someone else and get it cheap, or see if I already have it. I just like to see what's going on in the world of CCGs when it comes to pricing. What I see lately disturbs me, this isn't just eBay, but I'm also on a couple CCG groups on Facebook and on the internet, and what I want to know is how the costs for some of these sets and booster packs and starters got driven up. Now, I understand supply and demand. I understand that some are a bit more rare. But when you think of it, a lot of the sets and a lot of the booster packs that people are selling for exorbitant amounts of money are not exactly what you call rare by themselves. There might be cards contained in them that are rare. But you have to remember that companies like Decipher and Wizards of the Coast and whoever the hell it is that makes the Pokemon TCG, they pumped out a lot of cards and packs and boxes because for most of the 90s and into the early 2000s, there was a huge demand. They couldn't keep up sometimes at one point. The euphemism that CCGs are cardboard crack is quite correct. We could not get enough of them back in the day. Some people still can't. As I said, I try to go back when I have a few bucks and get a few cards from my sets and from my constructed decks that I might not otherwise have. But to see a lot of gamers on there ask ridiculous prices when, if you're an experienced gamer in CCGs and you know how much a lot of these things are worth and you do cross-reference and you see people blatantly ripping off other gamers to make a buck, why? Why did it all become like this? Many years ago, when I had a group of CCG gaming friends and associates, we tried to help each other. Now, that being said, you're going to think that it's a bit weird that people would help each other rather than, well, if you're going to give me that, you better give me this instead. What we did was, if we bought a lot of boosters and there were some good cards, and if there were doubles, especially if there were doubles, if we had to help out another friend and give him an extra rare or two for nothing the odd time, we did it. If we, for example, there was at one point where I needed, believe it or not, a couple uncommon and a lot of common equipment cards for one affiliation in the Star Trek CCG because I was lacking. A friend of mine gave me about 20 equipment cards for free. Didn't want anything in return. When it came to Magic, I needed some land of one color. A friend of mine gave me a whack of land in one color to help get me started. I reciprocated by giving him land of another color and some basic creatures that he didn't have. Gratis. Pro bono. We helped each other out. And occasionally, if there was something that we wanted to charge each other for, we'd take it out in trades or things like that. We wouldn't actually have money change hands because we'd be happy to help people, including ourselves. If other gamers saw what we were doing and said, hey, I want to get into that, but I don't have a lot of money. Okay, here's 100 extra commons and uncommons and a couple rares that I don't need because I have them sitting in my box and they're taking up space. Here you go. Here's your starter deck. But it's up to you to go buy some boosters when you have a few bucks and get more. That's how we did things. When we all started going on eBay to sell a couple excess cards here and there. I myself recently have sold some lots of CCGs for as low as $5 for decent cards with like $2 or $3 shipping. I'm not out to rip anybody off. I know what some of the costs are. And if there's the odd card that maybe I've misjudged and I've lost a few bucks, oh well, if I've made another gamer happy, then, what's the big deal? Yeah, you want to make a few bucks when you sell something, but why are we ripping each other off nowadays? Especially when you see people posting in these groups that say, oh, I'm a big player, collector of CCGs, and, I like to help people and I like to be part of the game and make sure everybody gets into the game. If you're ripping people off by posting booster boxes or packs or starters for prices they were never meant to attain, how are you helping get people into the game? When you rip off other gamers, and this goes for video games or CCGs, you're not helping them get into it. You're turning them away because they see that as an obstacle that they might not be able to get past. And if they finally do by then, they don't want it. They've moved on to some other thing that has nothing to do with video games or CCGs. Why are we like this now? Why do we put so much emphasis on making that quick buck and as many as we can and ripping off people rather than help people? The gaming community used to be about helping people. Now it's about padding our own wallets. And you know what? To hell with everybody else. I don't like that. I'm against that. This is why some games have died out spectacularly. And I'm not talking just video games, I'm talking about genres of CCGs and other things, because people are getting ripped off and screwed over and they're tired of it. It's not right. Can we stop doing that? Can we go back to treating everyone like a big community of friendly gamers and help each other out with our needs? I have a friend I met recently in the last few months. He's out in, I believe, Oregon in the United States. Sorry, Joey, sometimes I forget things. I know it's West Coast. We got into talking, and he's a big CCG player, as am I. He's going to be sending me some cards for free. He's printing out some of those cards off one of those websites and putting them on common cards because he knows I have needs for my sets, and I'm also poor right now. And I've sent him some other things that he enjoys for free. At some cost to myself, I don't care, because he's going to be sending me all those cards, and I think that's awesome. This is how gamers should be. We are better than greedy capitalist pigs. Making money is fine. I have no objection with that. Ripping people off blatantly, I have a big problem with that. I'm tired of it. We need to be better. If we want the younger generations to get into these games and keep them going and show them how awesome they are, we need to do better. Okay? I'm saying this to everyone out there who's listening to this. You, all of you, even me, we need to do better. We need to stop being a bunch of greedy bastards and actually help people. Let's make gaming great again. That had nothing to do with Donald Trump, in case anyone's wondering. I just thought that up right now. This is a live pre-recorded podcast after all. I just keep going on until I stop. Anyways, that's all for today. Thank you for listening to me ramble. Everyone be nice to each other. Treat each other with respect. Don't rip each other off. Let's continue the fun. Let's all be awesome to each other. And more importantly, don't forget to game on.